100 days prior to the Gaokao, I discovered that I was with child. Upon gazing at the examination report displaying the 4 bold characters denoting my pregnancy status, I found myself frozen in place, utterly stunned. Before my eyes, a barrage of comments materialized. Haha, this is hilarious. The supporting character must be dumbfounded, while our heroine is clever enough to swap her blood test with the supporting characters. In the end, our heroine will juggle both her studies and motherhood, while the supporting character will have to settle for a junior college. The rebellious school bully versus the aloof academic genius versus the gentle senior. Our heroine must have been utterly enchanted that night. How enviable. Alas, our heroine is still unaware of whose seed she carries. She can only keep it a secret. How pitiful. Don't panic. After all, in the capital's elite circle, our heroine stands to gain immensely, regardless of whose child she bears. Here they come, here they come. Our heroine arrives with her 3 suitors. I turn my head to see my desk mate, Shun Feifei, approaching with her 3 secret admirers in tow. As I was still processing the information I had gleaned from the barrage of comments, Shun Feifei abruptly snatched the health report from my hands, exclaiming with exuberance, "Ah, pregnancy status. Xiaoya, are you expecting?" In that fleeting moment, all eyes around me converged, including those of the 3 individuals standing behind Shun Feifei, their gazes laden with insinuation. Pregnant? The top student has somehow found herself in such a predicament. Who would have thought that even a diligent scholar would indulge in such reckless behavior? Ultimately, it appears that those from the slums resort to such means to elevate their status. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Shun Feifei's complexion turned pale as she lowered her gaze. "Xiaoya, I'm so sorry." The comments surged once more. "No need to apologize, daughter. It's not your fault. It's merely the truth as stated on the report." The supporting character has never been modest, always shadowing the heroine. Seeking a moment of fame before the esteemed gentleman of the capital, now she has unwittingly contributed to her own grand ambition. The expression on the F3 gentleman's face is rather perplexing. Could he possibly think the person from that fateful night was the supporting character? After all, in the darkness, no one could discern who was who. As long as my heroine safely delivers the little prince, I can endure this. What is the supporting character dazed about? Does she genuinely believe she is pregnant? The notion of asexual reproduction is utterly absurd. The barrage of insults and mockery swirled incessantly before my eyes. Blinking to regain my composure, I expressionlessly retrieved my health report from Shun Feifei's grasp. "Yes, I am pregnant." Shun Feifei was momentarily taken aback, guilt frozen on her face.
Huh.
I curved my lips into a slight smile as I glanced towards the esteemed F3 gentleman behind Shun Feifei. "From now on, I shall be the expectant mother. And I hope you'll take good care of me." Just then, the class bell rang, and I returned to my seat, burying myself in my revision exercises. The whispers persisted, even escalating, until they were quelled by a gentle cough from Wen Yuhan, the sole scion of the foremost medical family in the capital and the president of the student council, was known for his gentle demeanor. I met his calm gaze and silently mouthed a thank you before resuming my work. Beijing Zhong not only stands as a prestigious aristocratic school but also boasts the finest educational resources. Those who attend are either affluent or intellectually gifted, and I belong to the latter category. Yet, my financial situation is dire, rendering me a lowly individual in the eyes of most aristocratic students. Naturally, Shun Feifei shares this plight with me. However, she is unwilling to remain merely a lowly figure. Returning to her seat, Shun Feifei twirled her pen. Ultimately unable to contain herself, she raised her test paper, leaning in to whisper, "Xiaoya, are you really pregnant?" I turned to face Shun Feifei, noting her curiosity regarding my condition. In a fleeting moment of her distraction, I placed my hand on her abdomen, teasingly asking, "What about you? Are you pregnant too?" "Impossible!" Shun Feifei exclaimed, her excitement causing her to stand abruptly, her eyes shimmering. "Teacher, Shun Feifei, and I need to use the restroom." With the teacher's approval, Shun Feifei swiftly grasped my hand, leading me out of the classroom. Shun Feifei awkwardly explained, "Xiaoya, I mean no offense. I'm just a bit shocked. I thought you came to this school solely to study diligently." I hadn't anticipated that she too was unwilling to settle for an ordinary existence. I raised an eyebrow, observing the myriad of emotions flitting across Shun Feifei's face. Finally, mustering her courage, she extended her hand toward me, her eyes sparkling. Xiaoya, from now on, let us be the best of friends, supporting one another. I contemplated her words, belatedly realizing that she considered me akin to herself. How intriguing. I firmly grasped Shin Feifei's small hand. Indeed, mutual support it is. But tell me, whose child is in your womb? Shin Feifei ventured cautiously, glancing at my belly. I have no idea. I suppose I shall only know once it is born. I responded with a nonchalant air, while Shin Feifei appeared momentarily speechless. Simultaneously, the barrage of comments erupted once more. What is happening? Isn't the supporting character supposed to be the scapegoat? Why has she turned? I'm suddenly intrigued by this character arc. Is someone delusional? The supporting character is a blatant liar. She is deceiving our heroine, who seems utterly oblivious to the ruse and has even befriended her. Our heroine is far too naive. What? I distinctly recall this being a rendition of Meteor Garden. Why am I suddenly enmeshed in this drama? Is she running with a ball? The F3 gentlemen are doting on their wives. This classroom scene is scandalous. Something feels off. ISNT, the protagonist, supposed to be a resilient flower? Why does she resemble a green tea? ISNT, this a tale of the heroine's counterattack? Am I in the wrong frequency? The comments flickered before my eyes, sending a chill down my spine. What is this talk of character arcs, meteor gardens, and running with a ball? My life script solely entails striving for upward mobility. After all, I am impoverished. Gazing at Shin Feifei, who remained starry-eyed, I thought, since she had unwittingly presented me with an opportunity, why not exploit it to its fullest? Let the bullets fly a little longer. I inhaled the unique fragrance of jasmine that enveloped Shin Feifei. How delightful. Truly, she is akin to the heroine in a novel, and spending time with her has infused me with her essence. She is fragrant, fair, and delicate, not to mention intelligent and seemingly fragile. How unfortunate that I am merely a supporting character. After class, I utilized my connections within the student council to leave notes on the desks of the esteemed F3 gentlemen, Lu Jinyao, Gu Xiun, and Wen Yuhan, inscribed with the words, I am pregnant, and the child is yours. As the afternoon drew to a close, I remained behind as usual to complete my assignments, and by 9 o'clock, a torrential rain began to pour outside. Although I possessed an umbrella, I opted to embrace the resilience of returning home without one. True to form, as I stepped out of the school gate, a black umbrella silently appeared above my head, shielding me from the elements. It was Wen Yuhan, dressed in white casual attire. He appeared particularly gentle beneath the warm glow of the streetlights, his romantic peach blossom eyes accentuating the effect. I cleared my throat and lowered my head submissively. Good evening. Senior. Get in the car. A girl shouldn't stand in the rain for too long. Once inside, Wen Yuhan offered me a cup of hot water and retrieved a towel to dry the moisture from my hair. His tender and considerate demeanor was almost overwhelming. Yet it was all a facade. Thanks to the incessant barrage of comments, I learned that Wen Yuhan was the very individual who had silenced Shin Feifei that fateful night, pushing her into the corner of the classroom. Wen Yuhan, he is terrifyingly sinister. Noticing my silence, Wen Yuhan leaned back slightly, maintaining a respectful distance, a gentle smile gracing his lips. Don't be anxious, Junior. I stammered, and no, I'm not nervous. After a fleeting glance at him, I quickly lowered my gaze, catching a glimpse of the deepening smile on Wen Yuhan's lips. You still blush just like that night. However, I find your shyness quite endearing. Wen Yuhan rested his hand on his knee, rhythmically tapping it. That night was impulsive on my part, and I apologize for my actions. Junior, what would you like as compensation? His gaze lingered on my abdomen, burning with intensity. Or perhaps, Junior, would you like to exchange something for your condition? Here it comes. At long last, I clenched my fists, suddenly lifting my head to glare at Wen Yuhan with red-rimmed eyes. Senior, I never imagined you would perceive me in such a light. I believed you genuinely liked me. My voice quivered, and I bit my lip. Allowing a few tears to escape my eyes, I will handle the child on my own. There's no need for you to worry. Hypocritical scoundrel. As I spoke, I disregarded the vehicle speeding down the road, flinging open the car door and leaping out. After rolling several times, I managed to stand, limping into the narrow alley. The vehicle came to a sudden halt behind me, pausing for what felt like an eternity before resuming its journey. I wrung out the mud from my clothes, my expression icy as I made my way back to my dilapidated home. Throughout the journey, The barrage of comments echoed incessantly in my mind. What is the female supporting character doing? Pretending to be a resilient little flower, waiting for Nguyen to rescue her? That conniving green tea. Just roll away. Could she possibly think she is truly pregnant? What a foolish idiot, comparable to a cockroach. I want to see my darling girl. Switch the screen for me. But the female supporting character is quite innocent as well. She inexplicably received a pregnancy test result that ruined her reputation. She could have turned her life around with the college entrance examination, but now it's all in shambles. To the person upstairs, just I. She's merely a supporting character. Whether she's ruined or not has nothing to do with me. I want to see my darling girl. The female supporting character is so vicious. She should at least attend a junior college before giving birth to a bunch of kids to glorify her ancestors. Support 10086. A barrage of comments wishing for my demise flashed before my eyes. Want me to die? Dream on. It's only permissible for others to trap me, but not for me to retaliate. I am a supporting character, not a goddess, and I do not possess such a magnanimous heart. Pushing open the rusted iron door, I sighed in relief. A golden nest or silver nest pales in comparison to one's own doghouse. Just as I was about to open the door, I was unexpectedly shoved against the door panel. It was Lu Jinyao. Lu Jinyao covered my mouth with one hand while the other roamed my stomach. Wasn't he it said I was pregnant? Why hasn't he my belly grown? Xiaoya, are you fooling me? You wretched woman. Lu Jinyao slammed my head against the door, nearly knocking my soul out. I held the back of my head and spoke slowly. So you admit that it was you who forced me that night, Lu Jinyao. The atmosphere froze for a moment before I stood up and turned on the light. The glaring yellow light illuminated Lu Jinyao's sullen face and the entire view of this less than 10 square meter room. A bed, a table, and a rudimentary toilet emanated a foul odor. I rubbed the back of my head, feeling the warmth of crimson blood. Lu Jinyao, you are the one who is truly despicable, a contemptible man. You dare to act but not to own up, only hiding in the shadows to spy on me. What did you just say? Lu Jinyao suddenly raised his voice, raising his fist to strike me. I shifted my body, causing him to miss. He lunged at me again, and I extended my foot, tripping him so that he fell to the ground. Just then, a fat rat scurried out from under the bed, leaping over Lu Jinyao. The notorious and intimidating school bully, Lu Jinyao, let out a piercing scream. What the hell? A rat. Ah! A rat? A rat. I hurriedly lifted my phone to record Lu Jinyao's dramatic scream, then calmly grabbed the rat by its tail and tossed it into an iron basin. Lu Jinyao, can we have a proper conversation now? Lu Jinyao glared at me with a pale face, furiously standing up and snorting, You lowly woman from the slums, how despicable. I ignored his words, tapping the iron basin. The rat squeaked inside. Lu Jinyao opened his mouth but only managed a grunt. After a long pause, he finally spoke. Tell me, how much do you want? I can give you anything. I raised a finger and shook it. Lu Jinyao frowned. 100,000? 1 million? 10 million? How about 10 million? Just get rid of the child. Don't think you can marry into the Lu family with this child. Just look at your own status. How shameful. I raised my gaze, looking at Lu Jinyao with a serene expression. I want 100 million. What the hell? Lu Jinyao's eyes widened. 100 million? Xiaoya, have you lost your mind? It was just one time and you got pregnant. You're asking for 100 million? You impoverished fool. Do you even know what 100 million means? I do, and I also know that Lu Jinyao, the young master of the Beijing elite, cannot afford 100 million. Therefore, I released the rat, capturing a video of Lu Jinyao screaming in panic. My child, and I might not be worth that 100 million. But a video of the young master of the Lu family being chased by a rat while crying for his mother must be worth that much. Under Lu Jinyao's furious glare, I laid down the terms. He must hand over 100 million 3 months later, on the day after the college entrance examination. Or I would post the video online for everyone to see the young master of the Lu family being terrorized by a rat. I shook my phone, the sound of Lu Jinyao's screams echoing from it. Lu Jinyao stomped his feet in anger, finally gritting his teeth and saying, Fine. It's a deal. But don't you dare go back on your word. He muttered softly, a lowly woman from the slums who has never seen money in her life. I picked up the nearby iron basin and slammed it onto Lu Jinyao's head, causing him to explode in rage, jumping up and questioning me, Crazy woman. What are you doing? Apologize. Lu Jinyao haughtily retorted. I am the young master of the Lu family. When have I ever apologized to anyone? I shook my phone, and the sound of Lu Jinyao grinding his teeth echoed. I'm sorry. Before leaving, Lu Jinyao glanced around my shabby room, his expression complicated. Even my family's security booth is better than this. Poor dog. The roar of a motorcycle thundered past, nearly shaking the rust off my front door. I looked at the moldy walls and the furry floor. Yes, I am poor, but I am clever. Money can be printed, but intelligence cannot. Just as I was counting the people on my fingers, I realized I was missing Gu Xiuan, and the comments began to spoil the plot for me. I'm dying of laughter. The female supporting character is still scheming to climb the ranks, while our darling girl is already drinking and singing with Gu Xiuan in a romantic setting. In the future, she is guaranteed to be the grand lady of the Gu family. Whoa, they kissed. They're going to kiss. Ah. I'm going to be overwhelmed by this sweet love. I wanted to. But Gu Xiuan also received a note from the scheming supporting character. And it seems she is quite adept at flirting. The previous two were so smitten by her that they couldn't sleep at night. So what? A beggar like the supporting character can be easily dismissed with money. Our young Master Gu can simply crush her with wealth. Exactly, crush the supporting character with money. Just love for money. How vulgar and shallow. A person who sees nothing but money, unlike our darling girl, who pursues ideals and spiritual fulfillment. Has the supporting character lost her mind? Why is she smiling? Doesn't she know there are cavities in her teeth? Disgusting. I instantly retracted my grin, as I genuinely had no idea about the cavities in my teeth. After checking in the mirror and confirming that I indeed had cavities, I quietly vowed to get myself a golden tooth once I received the money. After scrubbing vigorously, I lay on my bed, dreaming of the scene where Gu Xiuan crushed me with money, my teeth bared wide open all night long. As a result, the next morning, when I arrived at the classroom, I was sporting 2 dark circles under my eyes. Shin Feifei leaned in with her clever little head and asked, Yeah? Didn't you sleep well last night? You have dark circles under your eyes. I yawned and nodded, catching a glimpse of a jade bracelet on Shin Feifei's wrist. Remembering the spoilers from the comments last night, I casually asked, Is that bracelet a gift from Gu Xiuan? Shin Feifei's eyes sparkled with sweet bubbles as she exclaimed, How did you know it was from Senior Gu? Just as I was contemplating how to brush it off, Gu Xiuan was already standing at the front door of the classroom. He glanced at Shin Feifei and then turned to me. Xiaoya, come out for a moment. With the astonished gazes of the entire classroom and Shin Feifei's complicated expression, I stepped outside. When I returned, there was a note on my desk that read, Xiaoya, I know you're not pregnant. I will expose you sooner or later. I held the note for quite a while. Its neat handwriting revealing nothing about the writer, yet I could guess who it was. After all, the note carried a faint scent of jasmine. When Shin Feifei returned, I was already tearing the note to shreds and tossing it into the trash bag. Yeah, what are you tearing? Shin Feifei asked curiously, her watery eyes reflecting confusion, curiosity, and a hint of unease, her careful schemes laid bare. To be candid, Shin Feifei, as the heroine of this narrative, is rather commendable. Her intelligence and appearance are both quite admirable, though her emotional intelligence leaves much to be desired. Merely a threatening letter. Shin Feifei's petite face illuminated with excitement. What are you threatening me with? Threatening to expose the fact that I am not pregnant. What? Shin Feifei was so astonished that her small mouth could fit 2 eggs, whether placed horizontally or vertically. I shook my head in resignation, caressing my flat stomach. How could that be possible? If I were pregnant, I would certainly know. The school's blood test report clearly indicated a negative result, unless someone deliberately switched my blood sample. I deliberately lowered my voice and elongated my tone. Tell me, is there anyone else in our class who is secretly pregnant and shameless enough to do so? I must not discover it. Shin Feifei's cheeks turned pale at a visible rate, stammering. How could that be? Apart from you in our class, after choking on water twice, she managed to continue. Yeah, I didn't mean anything bad. I huffed and turned my head away, causing Shin Feifei to be utterly distracted throughout the entire morning study session, occasionally sneaking glances at me. Even after the morning session, Lu Jinya, Gu Xian, and Wen Yuantian each sent someone to deliver 3 different breakfast options to me, leaving Shin Feifei too stunned to react. Seizing the opportunity to unpack my breakfast, she blushed and apologized. Yaya, I'm really sorry. I absolutely did not mean to insult you. The comments section erupted in fury. What is this? Why should my heroine apologize to her? A mere side character. Can the author just eliminate her? I'm disgusted.
Ah.
Our heroine is truly too kind and too easy to bully. It's clearly the side character's fault. Shameless, trying to steal our heroine's man. Seeing the heroine endure this is truly heartbreaking. Why must she suffer? The side character should just disappear. Doesn't anyone think the side character has been quite kind? After all, she was initially framed by the heroine and didn't he even retaliate? Honestly, I am secretly shipping the villainess versus the innocent bunny. Secretly shipping 10,086. Upon seeing the comments beginning to bubble with pink hearts, I couldn't help but spray my soda everywhere. Beside me, Shun Feifei was frantically handing me tissues. Yaya, here is some paper. The comments were once again in turmoil. I hastily composed myself and said, Feifei, I forgive you for what happened earlier. We are still good friends. Please don't treat me this way. I'm scared. Shin Feifei sighed in relief. I'm glad you're not upset. If you were, the comments would surely murder me. Lowering my head, I picked up my 5-year college entrance examination and 3-year simulation book, as well as the Golden Sun papers. After all, I needed to juggle both money and intellect. At noon, when Yuan Tian invited me to lunch, a seafood feast that I couldn't resist, I even dragged the bashful Shun Feifei along. In the evening, it was Lu Jinia's various hot pot and barbecue picnic, and I still brought along the drooling Shun Feifei. Although Lu Jinia seemed somewhat reluctant, he complied as long as I shook my phone and patted my stomach. Occasionally, I also enjoyed random meals from Gu Xian, but 80% of it was consumed by me, with the remaining shared between Gu Xian and Shun Feifei in a feeding frenzy. I struggled to resist the urge to vomit on several occasions. By the time the college entrance examination approached, I had successfully gained 10 pounds. Stroking my round belly and collagen-rich face with a satisfied smile. Child, you have finally grown. Shun Feifei, too, had gained considerable weight over 3 months of indulgence. Her slightly protruding belly full of barbecued skewers. Riding in Gu Xian's extended Lincoln to the examination venue, just as I was about to step inside, Gu Xian leaned in and whispered, Xiaoya, don't forget the promise you made to me. I nodded. My bag was with me. Thus, during the 2.5-hour exam, I fell into a deep slumber, propping my head up and nearly drooling all over the desk. After all, Gu Xian had said that if I were willing to relinquish the title of top scorer to Feifei, he would grant me 100 million. 100 million. I could spend an entire ocean's worth of ink and still not earn that much. Why not? Moreover, my ambitions lie elsewhere. Long before, I had already registered for the IELTS, achieving a commendable score of 85, making a trip abroad for leisure entirely feasible. By the time the 3-day examination concluded, I had also tidied up my impoverished dwelling and transferred 10 billion yuan to my overseas account. Indeed, 10 billion was my ultimate goal, not the trifling amount offered by the young masters of the capital, but rather the vast family behind them, tossing me such sums as casually as one might sip afternoon tea. The first to approach me was when Yuan Tian's mother, her gentle gaze expressing my favorite words. How much will it take for you to stay away from my son? I sipped on the exquisite coffee before me, raising 3 fingers. 3 billion? Child, you are indeed worth that much. I maintained a facade of calm, though inwardly, I was grinning from ear to ear. Before leaving, when Yuan Tian's mother added, Yuan Tian is quite peculiar. Enduring him for so long must have been difficult for you. Here's an additional 30 million. Remember to keep your distance. I bowed deeply, expressing my gratitude to the goddess of wealth. Next was Lu Jinia's mother, a punk-inspired figure who personally flew in to meet me. Before I could state my price, she lifted her sunglasses and said, I heard the Wen family offered you 3 billion. I presume your quote is also 3 billion? I nodded eagerly, flashing a fawning smile. Yes, indeed, sister, your information is impeccable. A sweet tongue. Here's 35 million. Don't let anyone say our Lu family is poorer than the Wen family. She handed me a check marked as a voluntary gift, and I was so delighted that my thighs nearly turned bruised from squeezing them. Hee. In my 18 years, I had scarcely touched a 100 yuan bill, and suddenly possessing such a fortune made me giddy. My cavities were practically smiling. The comments exploded. How exhilarating. I request the sister to shower me with money too, please. Money, money, money. I am poor, and I love money. Side character, do you understand your role? If not, let me take over. Millions and billions. I'm going to faint. Honestly, after watching for so long, I don't find the side character that detestable anymore. Despite her materialistic greed and occasional feigned weakness, she hasn't done anything heinous. I agree. The side character is somewhat pitiable, and more importantly, she seems to have done nothing particularly atrocious, aside from deceiving others. I've secretly supported the villainess all along, whispering, "Please don't roast me." I stretched languidly, preparing for the third act. After all, Gu Xian's mother was not particularly fond of me, and I had no intention of winning her over. Gu Xian had already given me a heads up, stating that his mother held conservative views. Sure enough, she appeared in a deep blue qipao, her haughty gaze scrutinizing me from head to toe. I adopted a languid demeanor, caressing my faux belly and sweetly called out, "Mom. This is my and Xian's child. I even went to the hospital to check, and it's a boy. He will grow up to honor you alongside Xian and inherit the Gu family's fortune." I clung tightly to Gu Xian's arm, my voice dripping with feigned innocence. "Xian, why does it seem like your mother disapproves of me? Should I leave instead, boo-hoo?" Gu Xian's mother's expression shifted from pale to green, struggling for a long time before finally articulating, "Gu Xian, if you dare bring this woman home, you can leave." Gu Xian firmly held my hand, a defiant look in his eyes. "Mom, I cannot live without her. Xiaoya, let us elope together." I earnestly nodded, tears glistening in my eyes. "Darling, wherever you go, I shall follow." With that, Gu Xian and I stood up in unison, leaving his mother utterly aghast. Together, we exclaimed, "Mom." Gu Xian coldly stated, "Mom, I'm leaving. Don't miss me too much. Must you choose such a woman to provoke me?" Gu Xian remained silent. "Mom, we are truly in love." I nodded in agreement. Gu Xian's mother appeared to be in a state of utter disbelief, pointing an accusatory finger at me, exclaiming, "Is it so impossible for you to fancy another woman? Even if she isn't female, I would accept that, but she must not be this type of woman." I glanced down at the yellowing slippers adorning my feet, pondering, what's wrong with that? At that moment, Shun Feifei made her grand entrance, her eyes glistening with tears as she approached Gu Xi and me. Seizing a cup of coffee from the table, she declared, "Gu Xian, you scoundrel. I love you so deeply, yet you dare to pursue my best friend." Before Gu Xian could utter a single word, his mother had already made a resolute decision. My future daughter-in-law could only be Shun Feifei. Gu Xian wrestled with his thoughts for a mere 3 seconds before the ancestral jade bracelet of the Gu family was clasped around Shun Feifei's wrist. With tears streaming down my face, I chose to leave, taking with me an exorbitant breakup fee of 330 million. The substantial sum I had meticulously orchestrated over 3 months was finally within my grasp. Seated in the first-class cabin en route to Australia, I could not suppress a grin that revealed my golden tooth gap. My phone screen lit up with hundreds of unread messages and calls. When Yuan texted, "Junior, shall we indulge in a luxurious lobster feast this noon? Air freighted from Australia, your favorite. Are you still asleep? Forget it, after the college entrance examination, it's time to relax. I'll come pick you up. Junior, open the door. Where are you? Shun Feifei, where are you? Lu Jin, you messaged. Wife, what's for dinner tonight? I swiped a lobster from that rascal Wen Yuan. Shall we grill it together? I also bought a new motorcycle. After dinner, let's take a ride. Where's my wife? What the hell? Where is everyone? Xiaoya, have I spoiled you too much, making you vanish? Wife, I love you like a mouse loves rice. I'll patiently await your return home in unison. Both sent a final message. Xiaoya, a mere 300 million has bought your loyalty. Splendid.
I will find you.
My junior wife. I chuckled coldly, tossing my phone into the Pacific Ocean. How amusing. I am wealthy and fit. I risked my life to play with you. And you think me a fool, waiting for me to turn back? As the plane touched down, the barrage of comments rolled in before my eyes. 666. The female antagonist ran off with the money to live a life of luxury? What is this? Is this still my tenacious little white flower's path to success? I'm switching allegiances. I've fallen for the female antagonist. I'm the unfaithful one. Go ahead and punish me, sister. I beg you. Let me star in an episode too. I want to enjoy this as well. The first chapter jumped to the end. I'm a bit confused. This a supporting female character? Why is the latter part all about her? Where is the heroine? The heroine is happily married to Gu Yen and raising children. No competition between women, how boring. I'm dropping this. Must girls always compete? Can't they just enjoy a harmonious life? Competing women, be gone. Indeed, the female antagonist has never harmed anyone. She merely deceived for money and affection. Sighing at the rolling comments, I exclaimed, could you all be quiet for a moment? How can this be called deception? This is merely my compensation for emotional distress. The comments erupted. What the heck? The female antagonist can see us? Oh my gosh. The barrage gradually faded from view as I sat serenely in a luxurious Rolls-Royce, heading toward my grand estate. However, the moment I stepped into the manor, an unsettling chill, foreign to Australia, washed over me. When Ewan texted, Junior, what a coincidence. I'm also here in Australia for my studies. Lou Genie added, wife, what a coincidence. We meet again in Australia. Trembling, I answered Shin Feifei's call. Baby yeah. When Yuan and Lu Jingyi have both fallen out with their families, claiming they will find you no matter the distance. You must be careful. Looking at the two formidable figures beside me, I smiled brightly. Actually, I'm not carrying your child, nor have I been intimate with either of you. Everything previously was merely a ruse. So, would you kindly let me off the hook? In unison, they responded, impossible, I don't believe you. The sky has fallen. I only sought to swindle some money, not to engage in anything intimate. The end of the narrative approached, and I expressed my gratitude for your attention. Bidding farewell until our next story.